I wanted to talk about reading and ADHD. And my experience of reading has been very different from a lot of other ADHDers from what I can see, having researched the subject. I've always been very good at reading, so my mum taught me from an early age, and I loved reading. And if I was interested in it, I could pick up a book and just be immersed in it. And I loved the escapism that reading gave me and just using my imagination to get lost in these worlds that I would do. What that also taught me was that when I came across a word I didn't know, I'd ask my dad what it meant, and he'd say, look it up, because if you look it up, you'll remember it, and if I tell you, you'll forget it. And he was right. He was absolutely right. So I look up words that I don't know. Consequently, as I've got older, I've got quite a varied lexicon. I've got a great vocabulary I can use, and that stood me in good stead when putting forward arguments and discussions, because if you understand larger words, people think you know what you're talking about, by and large. It did backfire at times when I was in the army, because I would naturally use words to express myself which other people didn't. And there was one guy in the army, a guy called Stephen, who was a bit of a Neanderthal, and he would find it irritating, and he would say, you just think you're better than me. Well, I don't. This is just the way I speak. No, you think you're better than me. He was a bully, and he wasn't too bright, to be fair. But that was his issue. Now, why am I saying it's different from other ADHDs? So doing some research, I found that some ADHDs struggle with reading and have reading issues. And certainly, if I'm trying to read a passage when I'm trying to learn, it's very boring. It doesn't really interest me. I really struggle to find meaning in it. So when I'm doing study, I write it down. And the reason I write it down is because it slows the reading process down, and I don't end up reading the same paragraph 20 times and still not understanding it. So slowing it down to my writing speed helps me understand. That's what I do. But getting back to reading, a lot of ADHDs I know, whilst they may struggle to find understanding in the words that they're looking at, they're actually really good at speed reading and reading very quickly. And I've seen this mentioned a couple of times on the internet, and they say this is the speed an average ADHD can read at. And sometimes it's up to 400 words a minute when they just click very fast. Very handy, and this is a complete aside, when you're looking at the film credits. And I went to watch the latest Venom movie, The Last Dance, and finally I ticked off something on my bucket list. I saw my name going up on their credit list at the end. Not me, but my name, at least, going up on the credit list. There was a Peter Clark, and he was something to do with music. But that brings me into the ability, because there were so many names going up, and they go up fairly quickly, but I was able to read them and spot my name. So there we go. We can read quite quickly. Some of us have advanced reading age, like myself when I was younger, and my two ADHD diagnosed sons. They both were good readers from an early age. So don't give up is basically what I'm saying. Just there are tactics we can use, and we can understand it better if we slow everything down. But good luck. I love reading, and it stood me in very good stead over the years.